Good morning. I'm Dwight Keene. I'm chair of the Kansas Corporation Commission. I'm joined this morning by fellow Commissioner Susan Duffy. Commissioner Andrew French will not be joining us. He is in transit from an out-of-state meeting. At this time, I will call to order this meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission on this February 17th, 2022. The first matters before us for consideration originally were 30 items on the consent agenda. I'm recusing on item number 7, and since Commissioner French is unable to join us this morning, we're going to pull item 7 and hold it over for consideration at our next business meeting, which I believe is on Tuesday, February 22nd. That leaves us with 29 items on the consent agenda. That would be items 1 through 6 and 8 through 30. That being the case, Commissioner Duffy, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about any of these items?
Good morning, Chairman Keene. I have no questions or comments, and I do move approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. I will second that. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. All in favor, and we're talking about consent items number 1 through 6 and 8 through 30. All those in favor of approving these items, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Those consent items are approved. Next up for our consideration are 3 noticed items. First of which is docket number 21-ATMG-333-GIG. This is in the matter of the investigation into Atmos Energy Corporation regarding the February 2021 winter weather events as contemplated by docket number 21-GIMX-303-MIS. Before us this morning is an order granting a motion for modification of a procedural schedule. And our presenter is our General Counsel, Brian Fedotin. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Commissioners. On September 14th, Atmos filed its plan to minimize the financial effects of the 2021 winter weather event or Winter Storm Uri. And on January 4th, the Commission adopted a procedural schedule, which included a February 10th deadline to submit a settlement, a March 23rd date for an evidentiary hearing, and an April 22nd deadline for a Commission order. On February 9th, Atmos Commission staff and CURB filed a joint motion to approve a settlement agreement. Later that day, the Office of the General, later that same day, the Office of the Attorney General of Kansas joined Atmos staff and CURB in a joint motion to modify the procedural schedule to move up the evidentiary hearing date from March 23rd to March 4th, which would allow an expedited filing of an application for financing order for securitization. So in the joint motion, they proposed having testimony in support of the unanimous settlement due February 24th, a pre-hearing conference on February 25th, a hearing on the unanimous settlement March 4th, and the Commission order would be due by March 24th. This order grants that joint motion and the dates proposed in that joint motion. And just the order says, but I'll note it, that due to the ongoing pandemic, both the pre-hearing and hearing will be conducted via Zoom. With that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much, Brian. Commissioner Duffy, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this order?
No, I have no questions or comments. I move approval of the order.
Thank you. And I will second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The order is approved. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Next matter up for our consideration, we have 4 dockets that are consolidated for our consideration, and they all involve Prairie Gas Operating LLC as operator. First of these is docket number 20-CLNS-3129-CPEN. This has to do with the failure to comply with KAR 82-3-111 at the Watson number 1 and the Earl number 1 in Greeley and Hamilton counties, Kansas. The second docket is docket number 20-CLNS-3144-CPEN. This deals with the failure to comply with KAR 82-3-407 at the Bounds number 2 well in Greeley County, Kansas. The third docket is docket number 20-CONS-3220-CPEN. This is actually the lead docket here. This involves the failure to comply with KAR 82-3-111 at the Watson Farms number 1, the Monroe number 2-4H, and the Fetch D number 1, all in Greeley County, Kansas. The final docket is docket number 21-CONS-3199-CPEN. This deals with the failure to comply with KAR 82-3-111 at 27 wells located in Greeley and Hamilton County, Kansas. Before us this morning is a final order, and our presenter is Assistant General Counsel John Myers. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Commissioners. The order before you basically resolves the two remaining issues in these consolidated dockets. The first is more or less what needs to be done at the Earl number 1, the FEC D number 1, and Watson number 1 wells. The order directs, essentially directs operator to successfully conduct a casing integrity test on the wells or plug them. The second issue is in regards to all issues associated with docket 21-3199, the 111 violations at 27 wells in Greeley and Hamilton counties. The order before you today affirms the underlying penalty order in that docket. With that, Commissioners, I recommend approval of this order, and I am available for questions.
All right, thank you, John. Commissioner Duffy, any questions, comments, or concerns?
I have no questions or comments. I move approval of the order as described.
Thank you, and I will second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The order is approved. Thank you very much, John. Although it was not initially noticed in our original notice of this business meeting, we do have a third noticed item to take up. As noted in our notice, actually, the commission's agenda may be altered up to and including the time of the business meeting if there are good reasons for that. Accordingly, at this time of our own motion, I am calling a special emergency. I'm calling a special emergency for the commission consideration of docket number 22-TRAM-404-00S. We have before us for consideration in this docket an emergency suspension of operating authority order involving RLM Underground LLC of Olathe, Kansas, for failure to comply with motor carrier safety statutes and rules and regulations. Our presenter this morning is Hassan Latif, Assistant General Counsel. Good morning, Hassan.
Good morning, Commissioners and Chair. Thank you for adding this order to today's business meeting. Staff believes this is a situation in which it was necessary for the Commission to act as soon as possible. Before you is an order of emergency suspension of authority order to RLM Underground LLC, a private motor carrier operating out of Olathe, Kansas. This carrier came to the attention of staff due to repeated roadside inspections where inspectors found habitual, dangerous out-of-service violations. Since the new year began, the carrier has been inspected on January 12th twice, January 13th, February 1st, 9th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. The order includes a summary of these inspections, and each inspection's report prepared by the inspector is attached to the order. Each time an inspection occurred, serious out-of-service violations were found. In 7 of these 8 inspections, the driver did not possess a valid CDL despite operating a commercial motor vehicle over 26,000 pounds. And in 6 of those 7 instances, the driver possessed no driver's license of any kind. In addition to the licensing issues, inspectors have routinely found the braking systems on the vehicles operated to be faulty or disconnected, and their loads were not properly secured. Staff, after working with our counterparts at the FMCSA and the KHP, have determined that suspending this carrier's authority to operate as soon as possible is necessary. This will allow the KHP to possibly impound the vehicles of the carrier and prevent it from further operations that put the public at risk. Because of this situation has developed so quickly, with the carrier being stopped each day this week, staff requested expedited action and the placement on today's business meeting. Staff believes this carrier will continue to operate in defiance of the applicable motor carrier safety rules and regulations unless action is taken. And that's why we recommend approval of the emergency suspension order before you. I, as well as staff, are available to take any questions you have.
Thank you, Hassan, for that overview. We appreciate it very much. Commissioner Duffy, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this docket?
I do have a question. What is the primary, what do they haul? I did not see that list.
So my understanding is they do underground wiring, like and they lay wiring underground, and so there's a lot of. I think Mike, you can add to this, explain a little bit more what they do if you want.
No, I think you're correct, Hassan. They do install underground wiring, and primarily that is their sole purpose.
Okay. I would just like to make the comment that it is rare that we exercise this authority under the commission. And I know when staff comes before us with such an order in an emergency fashion, it is an emergency. And I appreciate the diligence, especially on a day like today, to ensure that the traveling public in Kansas is as safe as potentially they can be. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I do move approval of the emergency order.
Thank you, Commissioner Duffy. I will second that. Is there any further discussion? I will add this brief comment. This order is being taken up on an emergency basis, and I think the rationale for that is pretty well set forth in the summary that Hassan has provided us of the matter before us in this docket. The timing of these inspections that give rise to this are all, I think, if my memory serves in your chronology there, all have occurred within the past 2.5 to 3 weeks, with several of these violations occurring within the past week. And I think that is what I see, certainly, as giving rise to the nature of the emergency and our consideration of this as an emergency situation. I want to again thank our staff for its diligence out in the field, as well as all of those within the Transportation Division for their work on this effort. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. The order is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, Gary, and Hassan, we appreciate that. I see no further matters to come before us this morning, Commissioner Duffy, unless there's something else that you had in mind. I would certainly entertain a motion that we adjourn.
Be safe, everyone. Stay warm. And I move we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second the adjournment motion as well as your thoughts. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. We are adjourned. Everybody be safe, please. Thank you.